continental U.S. possibly along the road because it's going to probably work its way. All that moisture is going to work its way toward the Yucatan Peninsula more than likely. So or toward the Bay of the Baja California. I'm trying to say. All right, y'all. Let's get going here. Look at the United States here as a whole. Temperatures are very moderate tonight. Not much cold really in the United States as a whole. Got rain through the middle of the country here, rain down here in the south. A little bit of snow up in the very far northeast, but not much else. Anything else going on here? As you can see, very moderate temperatures. I mean, Chicago, 44 degrees in Chicago here right now at this time of night. Nashville, Tennessee, 55. Down in Miami, it's 70. You get up in the northeast where it's a little colder. It's 31 degrees up in the very far northeast. All right, let me get going with the rest of this now. Storm Prediction Center just has thunderstorm activity off the tip of Florida for today and tomorrow. The same stuff, and the day after that, the same stuff, and then days 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Guys, the air, we're gonna get so much cold air coming down from the Arctic that there's no chance of any kind of thunderstorm activity to develop. It's just no chance. Weather Prediction Center is giving 0 chances currently at this time. They're not showing any estimated forecasting at all for any kind of excessive rainfall totals creating any kind of flash flood threat. So there's no flash flood threat over the next 5 days. Now here's where the fun starts, okay? This is the European model, what I have up here is the anomaly. If you look right now, currently, what do we have? We have warm temperatures through the center of the country. Almost the entire United States is above normal. Then we get a dip. Then we get a little dip coming right here, right? You see this? See this little dip? We're getting some cold air coming. Here comes the cold air in the middle of the country right there. Now, when I say cold air, it's the eastern half of the United States, guys. That is, I don't, y'all. I don't know what's happening with the internet tonight. Sorry, y'all. It's kind of crazy stuff. Like I said, I had trouble getting on here this evening. So you can see down here in the southeast, the eastern half of the country turns cold, and I do mean Friday morning here in Florida. It is going to be cold. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'll show you this. Temperature here in Tampa Bay, as an example, is going to be about 32 degrees, real temperature, with a wind chill of 28. Ouch. So I'm telling everybody right now, Friday morning, you probably need to cover up the roots of your palm trees to make sure they don't freeze, guys. You need to cover it up because it could get very, very bad. And if you let the roots of your palm trees freeze, it will kill your whole palm tree. And don't let that happen. Cover those root systems up so they're not exposed to freeze. And you look 32 degrees north of there, up in Ocala, 31, and it's going to be a pretty hard freeze in places. And then beyond that, the following day, Saturday, we're going to get cold again. Yeah, here comes the cold air again. 7 a.m. in the morning, around 37. Not as bad as it was on Friday, and then warms up a little bit, and then here comes another cold front popping down there on Monday morning. Goes all the way down to 38 degrees again. And here comes there's Wednesday morning right there, 39 degrees. So you look right here, y'all. We got almost a full week of some pretty cold air here in Florida until it all subsides. All right, it's all gonna get better. Look at that, 78 degrees on the 23rd. Now, how about the rest of the country though? Look where the really cold stuff is. It's up here, isn't it? Look at the dome of warmth down here around the 23rd. Now, I showed a picture earlier this afternoon of quite a large amount of freezing rain here in the south, didn't I? When does that all take place? Well, it takes place toward the end of this run. Look at the cold air. Now that is, let me repeat, this is real temperature here now. I'm showing you, which means this is all sub-zero temperatures coming southward. Now, what do you think will happen if we get that kind of cold air coming south? Now, what I've been talking about here, I've talked about this moisture coming out of the Pacific side, riding the lower 48 here, haven't I? Been talking about the southern part of the Gulf, along the Gulf here, about all this moisture that might ride along the Gulf Coast states and mixed in with cold air. I've been talking about this for a while now. Well, y'all, this right here might be it, okay? And you look at that cold air coming here on the European model here. This is way out there. This is long-range forecasting. I can't stress this enough. How much confidence level is in this? It's very low. It's very low. But this is what the European model is giving us right now. On the 26th, look at that cold air. And it sticks around. It doesn't go away very, very fast, does it? Now, if that cold air is in place right there, what do you think might happen down here in the south? If you get a little bit of moisture. What might happen? Well, here's the result. This is winter. And I'll put up snow here first. Now, you see just dribbles of snow here in the south. What do I mean by that? You see a little bit of snow down here. And you go over here in Florida to the southeast. You can see that snow line across Florida there. Now, the European model is putting down a little bit of snow there, isn't it? It is. Now, where is the freezing rain at? Okay? Where's the freezing rain? Look where the freezing rain's at up here now. It's way up here. The European model is putting it way up there, up toward the north. Now I'm going to switch over here, and I'm going to show you the GFS model. Now let's look at the cold air for the GFS model. Again, the southeast, this coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday timeline, it's going to be cold, y'all. We're going to be looking at 30-degree temperatures here in Tampa Bay region. And then it's going to get right back up again. Look at that. Here comes some more cold air. Coming down the pipeline there on the 19th. It gets cold again. And it gets reinforced again. Look at that. Now, we get to the end of this run right here. You get a warm trim. Now here comes cold air again. Now where's it at? Now it's in the middle of the country here. Right? Where's the real temperature at here? Look at the sub-zero temperatures here. Look how far south that red is penetrating now. Do you think there's a chance that some frozen precipitation of some magnitude? Look at that cold air get reinforced there across the Ohio Valley region toward the end of this run. Guys, I mean, we're talking about that's sub-zero temperatures there. Now, you look at that right there. Why would there be sub-zero temperatures there in Kentucky and maybe not down here or up here? Do you think it's probably because of really heavy snow maybe right there in the Ohio Valley region? And that snow is sticking around? Here's the winter precipitation for it. Wow, is there a big snow there across Indiana, Kentucky? Yeah, there is. There is. All right, now where is the winter stuff at down here in the south? If you look here on the current GFS model, do you see very much? There's a little bit of wintry precip down here. Now again, guys, this is long-range forecasting. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot depend on the accuracy of this. Okay? Here's the freezing rain on the GFS model. Now look where it's at now. Where was it at on the previous run? Here's the previous run. Look where it's at. It's down here, wasn't it? That really heavy freezing rain was down there in Texas, Louisiana region. Again, here's a current run. It moved northward. Where's that at? Well, that lines up pretty good where the European model is. Okay? So even though it's long range forecasting here, I have to say this. There's a chance that somebody's going to get the possibility of a freezing rainstorm out of this. Where exactly it lines up at yet, it's anybody's guess. It could be in the south. It could be through the Ohio Valley region. It might be up in the Great Lakes region. It's relatively impossible to know where this freezing rain is going to end up at. But the fact that the GFS and the European model both in the same timeline. I'm going to back this up a little bit. Let's watch. When's that freezing rain will start? We'll stop it right there. That's on January 23rd. Where's the freezing rain happen here on this one? Where's it happen at? Lo and behold, there's January 23rd as well. So on January 23rd, both the European and the GFS model is showing a fairly good batch of freezing rain hitting somewhere. So there's a good chance freezing rain is going to hit somewhere. Where exactly it's going to happen at? Y'all, I don't have any idea. It could be up in the Great Lakes. It could be in the Ohio Valley. And it could be maybe down south. We don't know yet. So don't put words in my mouth. It's not irresponsible of me to be showing this right now. I told you out front, it's long-range forecasting. It's very low confidence as to exactly where it's going to happen at. But right now, you'd have to assume, looking at the GFS and the European model both, that there's a good chance that freezing rain is going to have a fairly good dosing of freezing rain somewhere. And it could be a fairly good risk of quite a bit of snow falling somewhere. Now, where exactly this is on January 23rd. You see the snow right here on the European model. Where's the snow at right here on the 23rd here on the GFS model? Where does it look at? What does it look like? It looks very similar, doesn't it? Let me pan this back out here. If you look at the European and the GFS model both, y'all, they look very similar, don't they? Here's the European. There's the GFS. They look very similar. Notice those streaks of snow here moving across Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia on the GFS model. And the European model has that snow all the way down here into Florida, even in Tallahassee, even into Gainesville, y'all. Now, whether is that going to happen? Yo, again, when does that happen down there in the south? Say in South Florida here. When does that happen in Florida? When did that little snow happen? Right there it is, right there. When is that exactly? Is that date? That is on January 18th. So when is that? That's this Sunday. That's showing this Sunday a possibility of some snow across Florida there. Early morning hours of Sunday morning. Is that really going to happen? Well, the European model is showing it right now. It's showing it. You see that snow comes right through here. There's the snow. Bounces through Texas. Moves through Louisiana. Now it's just a smidgen of snow. It's not like it's a heavy dosing, and then moves across Florida and up the eastern seaboard through South Carolina, North Carolina, and then right up the eastern seaboard. Looks like stays just offshore. So there it is. Moves right through there like a little clipper. Right through there it is. Is that really going to happen? Well, the European model's showing it right now. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, y'all. Let's look at the current model run of the European model, because this is only at 126 hours out. We can look at the 144-hour update. What does it look like? Still shows it, okay, but look where the snow line is now. It's not down in Florida anymore. It's kind of moved up in Georgia a little bit further and up in South Carolina. Not necessarily right along it is right along the coastline here, but it's not following. It's not quite the same path. It's not as far south. Now, is there any freezing rain here on the current European model? Let's look at it. On this 144-hour update, there appears to be no freezing rain. But you can see on the 12Z run, at 144 hours out, there's not. But you go all the way out, there it is. Again, the GFS and European model both are showing something very similar. It's just in a different spot, y'all. Where exactly is going to... We might get this bouncing around back and forth, to the south, to the north, to the south. It might bounce around several runs, okay, before we get into that timeline up there. And that timeline, when is it on the European model here? When does that start up? On the 23rd. Y'all, that's 10 days out. How good are these models 10 days out? They're not. You can't depend on a model, especially for winter precip, forecasting 10 days out. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. Now, here is, if you want to play around a little bit, this is the European AIFS ensembles. And you see the snow. Where's the snow at? We actually got snow all the way down here in the Gulf. Look at that snow down in the Gulf of America down there. Look at that. We got snow all the way to the Gulf Coast here on the European AIFS ensembles, don't we? What does the GFS ensembles give us? It doesn't give it to us, does it? I'll be dang. It does not give us wintry precip. Okay, let's do this one then. Let's look at the GFS controlled long range. We can see that. And this takes us out to February 15th. Do you see snow in the south here? You do not, do you? Now, how about the controlled side of it? What does it give us? That is the controlled. Let me give you the extended here. Here we go. Here's the extended. What does it give us? Well, you see that snow very far south there. Again, low confidence in this? Absolutely it is. Now, here's the European extended. Again, look at the snow in the deep south here. It's not a lot. It's like a dusting, but it's there. I don't know if it's really going to happen, y'all. I don't know. And Julie's right. We're going to have that windshield wiper effect. There is no doubt that's going to happen. Right now, this cold air seems to be pretty locked in place, doesn't it? It appears to be. And it's going to come and go. We're going to have some warm days in between. And then right back, here comes more cold air again. If you look at the stratosphere, and everybody, I know y'all love looking at it. Here's the stratosphere. Let me go to the northern hemisphere here. Let's look at the what? What are we going to look at here? What's your favorite look here? Somebody tell me. What are we looking at here? We're going to look at the polar vortex, aren't we? Now, polar vortex. What are we really looking at here, this thing? What are we trying to find? Y'all, a tight polar vortex, okay, is more in a ball, okay? You look for it to be in a ball. You wouldn't have these ripples setting out here. You look for a ball. A tight polar vortex, okay? A tight polar vortex would not bring cold air into the United States. A weak polar vortex, on the other hand, okay, would bring a lot of cold air to the continental U.S. Well, look at this European polar vortex here. Look at these fingers sticking out. Now, has this changed since a few days ago? It has. Because the last few times we looked at this, the polar vortex had tightened up and appeared to be a much stronger polar vortex. Well, now I don't see that way. Look at the end of it there. My gosh, look at that finger sticking way out there. Look at down here. Look at this. Look like we've got a mad monster here of some type, don't we? Y'all, this is a good sign right here that we're going to have some very cold air enter the United States. That's what it's showing there right now on the polar vortex. It does not show a tight polar vortex anymore. It shows a weak polar vortex. And as long as we have a weak polar vortex, we are going to get some quite abundance of colder air moving into the continental U.S. This is the European polar vortex. Here's the GFS one. Let's look and see what it shows. I'd say it looks very similar. Look at this finger down here. You got a finger over there. It doesn't look quite as funky as the European does, but nonetheless, you still got all these fingers sticking out here, like right here, here, all these little fingers. You do not have a really good circumference ball polar vortex looking. You know, you look at it right there, it doesn't look quite so bad, but you start seeing those fingers there starting to erupt outward there, don't you? See, you get a period. It's kind of a soft little ridging there. I looked at that like a few weeks ago, and I thought, wow, that doesn't look too bad right there, right? That didn't look bad. That doesn't look bad. That looks like we got a tighter polar vortex. Then all of a sudden, like you go further out there, and then start looking at these. Watch these fingers here start erupting outward. Then you gotta spin over here. You gotta spin over here. It's not tight anymore. It weakens up. We don't have a tight polar vortex anymore. And that's giving us a sign of what? That we're going to have some really cold air. Man, I'm looking at right there at the end. Wow, look at that thing right here. Look at that finger sticking down here. This is out to January 29th. Do you think maybe toward the 1st of February we might be looking at a major cold outbreak here coming in the United States? If you look at this model right here, it's certainly showing that possibility right now. And, James and I were talking and conversing today about something. And I want to show you one more thing before I get out of here. And there's all kinds of talk about us going till El Nino before the tropics start. Y'all, I warned you guys last year. Everybody thought El Nino was going to come last year, remember? Remember at the beginning of tropical season last year, everybody said El Nino is going to be there? Did it ever happen? What'd I tell you? I got to see it before I believe it. And I'm going to tell you again, I want to see it before I believe it. All right? I'm going to go to the Oceanic here. We'll go to the Pacific side here. And I'm going to go to the Eastern Pacific here. And what I'm going to put up here is the anomaly here for ocean currents. And y'all, I want you to just look at this really, really closely here. You see this cooler water right here? That's La Nina, y'all. That's La Nina. If I take you back to last summer, let me go back here to, let's leave it right there. What do we have right there? Do you all see much difference in it? As a matter of fact, I'd have to say that's on September 21st right here. As a matter of fact, I would say we have a less looking a bit of a La Nina here than what we have currently right now. We have a stronger La Nina now than what we did back in September. And they're people out there are trying to suggest that we're going to go till El Nino in this coming tropical season. I don't believe that, y'all. I don't believe that at all. Y'all, if anything, the waters there from off of South America has got colder, not warmer. I don't see El Nino coming right now. And until I see a positive looking El Nino, I don't believe it. It is really hard for these waters to warm up right here. And once they do warm up, it's hard for them to cool back down again. It is a very hard transition for this cycle here to make these turns and abouts. Now, we've been in a La Nina cycle for a while. You would expect that eventually we'll turn toward El Nino. But right now, y'all, I don't see it yet. Now, might it happen? Y'all, there would have to be a big flip here before it does. And it might come. What would all that mean? If we stay at La Nina, or even go to neutral here, what would that mean? That means less wind shear in the tropics and probably mean more storms. Now, what happened last year? What do we have? We have just slightly above average storms last year. But what were we lucky about? None of it got to the United States, did it? None of it did. We had a big old huge trough off the east coast of the United States, and it kind of stuck there. And y'all, that saved our butts last year. If we have another La Nina in place, I don't know if that trough will be there next year, or this year like it was this past year, but boy, we better pray so. Otherwise, we could be fed some storms in toward the Gulf and along the Atlantic seaboard. I'm just pre-warning y'all. I have no idea what's going to happen. I do know this, though. I was looking at some other things a couple days ago. The pressures in the Atlantic seaboard right now are lower than normal. What does that mean? That means low pressure is easily dispensed and can get going in the tropics. That's what that would mean too. We have, if you look over here in the Atlantic side, what does it look like here for us? Warmer waters. You look at here. Look what we got right now. Look at the sea surface temperatures here in the Gulf. What do we got? We got above average temperatures there in the Gulf right now, don't we? Look across the Atlantic Basin here, y'all. Oh, off the coast of Africa here, it's below normal. But look across the Caribbean, across the Atlantic Basin right here. Look over in the Gulf. What are we at? We're above normal by quite a bit. Y'all, if these waters don't calm down, you don't want to see my tropical outlook come June if this looks like this and warms up even more. You see my point? If we don't get an El Nino look here and give us wind shear here and cool these waters down, these waters are going to be basting. Why do you think these waters are warm right now for? Because we have a La Nina. What does that mean? That means there's less wind shear over here to even help cool these waters down. So therefore, these waters are staying warmer. It's not as much shear. It's not as much westerly winds here. It's not there. So what does that mean? These waters are warmer. So something to look at. Hey, nothing to worry about. Not a single thing to worry about. Just like this possibility of freezing rain here in the south and winter in the south. Y'all, there's nothing to worry about right now. No idea what's going to happen here yet. Too far out. 10 days out. My God, that's almost like a lifetime in weather, right? So don't heckle me because I show something. Okay, I never hide you guys anything. Sometimes, like in the middle of the night, I see something like at midnight, and the GFS might show something, or European. Sometimes, guys, I won't post it to you. You know, I want to wait till the next morning to see what the models update and show then, because we'll get one more update in. Doesn't that make sense and the right thing to do so, rather than post something at, say, at 2 o'clock in the morning that I've seen many times and not even show it to you guys? Well, of course. Is that irresponsible of me to not do it then? I don't know. Not like I'm hiding anything. I'm waiting for the next run to see something, maybe. But I'm not going to hide anything from you as much as I can. You know? I'm not going to post something that's alarming unless it really means something in the middle of the night. I'm not going to do that, y'all. I'm not going to do that. That snow is just starting to show up on the RFS model out to Saturday. Let's look at that, James. I have not looked at that, actually. That'd be interesting to see. And where is that snow showing up at, James? Shows up right there. Let's go back to the 18Z run and see where it all pops out at. There it is right there. So again, it's too far out to see anything here, y'all. It's just it's not far enough out there. This takes us through Saturday at 1 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning. Well, when is that supposed to come in? It doesn't come in until the 19th down here. So it's about 2 days away before we'll have any idea as to even what the RFS model is giving us. And that's too far out. So you're going to have to wait. Sorry, y'all. You're going to have to wait. All right, guys. I am going to get out of here. Everyone have a great evening. God bless you all. I'll probably do a post tomorrow morning. I've had a very hoarse. You hear my voice right now. I'm hoarse as can be. Throat's messed up. I don't know what's going on. There's some type of bug out there of some type. I know that going on. Went to the doctor yesterday. Got bad news on my right leg, which I have it's called a Baker's cyst on the back of my leg, and they don't know what to do for it. It's kind of wrapped around my nerve on the back of my leg, so it's kind of in a bad spot, and they have no clue what to do to help me alleviate this pain I'm in and the swelling that goes into my knee. It's crazy, guys. I would have never dreamed in a million years that getting a knee replacement would cause this much problem. I'm not a very good example of what good knee replacements are. I promise you that, because mine has went horribly bad. The doctor feels so bad that what I'm going through. He said, I've never had a single patient go through what you're going through. Well, lucky me. Lucky me. But it is what it is, y'all. I try, and I don't know what to do for it. I put another call out to another surgeon to see if he has any idea. My doctor got me in touch. He's going to get me in touch with a pain specialist to see if he has any idea what to do. Uh, the pain I can take care of, but man, it's a swelling in my leg that creates the pain is what the problem is. Every day I get home, my leg is so swelled, guys. You would be shocked how bad my knee swells on a daily basis. It's crazy, and I don't mean to complain. There's a lot of people out there that has a lot more complaints than me, but I'll just say this: before you do a knee replacement out there, y'all, think about it really hard before you do one. Okay, most of them will go good, but there's always that chance that it goes bad, and if it goes bad, it's bad. I can promise you that, and I would tell you this: go as long as you can before you do a knee replacement. Is what I would advice I would give you. And I'm not a doctor; shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff probably. If I was you, I would go as long as I could before I did a knee replacement, unless you're getting up there in ages and you need to get it done before you get too old. Then you should get it done, probably. But it is what it is, y'all. I've learned to kind of accept the fact that I've dealt a bad card here, and that's the way it is. Acupuncture, Dave. I already went through acupuncture. I've tried. It doesn't help either right now, man. Acupuncture does not help me either. So I've tried it all. There's nothing out there I have not tried, honest and truly, y'all. So y'all have a good night. God bless y'all. I'll see you maybe tomorrow night. Will be the next live broadcast. Tomorrow night we'll probably look at another live broadcast. Guys, I don't know what time I get home. Also, I know I posted at 9 o'clock and James put it out there a message at 9, but I just could. I tried to get on this computer. I couldn't get booted up right, and even then I had a hard time connecting here with you guys. So, guys, have a good night. God bless y'all, and I'll see you guys.